Yo, it's Teddy, Caravan Film Crews, and we're going to go over the Canon R5, the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K, and the Sony A7S III. But first, before you go spending your stimulus and unemployment money on these cameras, there's a few things we got to keep in mind. One, we have a very fragile economy. Economic downturn is around the corner, and I can only imagine how much the free money will matter after this next election. Okay? If you shoot a lot of weddings, you shoot a lot of conferences and corporate events, hell, if you just shoot. Think about how making this purchase is going to net your ROI. You could very well spend this money on marketing. And, are your clients asking for 8K RAW? Are they asking for 40 megapixels? Do they actually care about color science? 99% of your clients don't. I've shot over 1,000 projects in my career. Not one client asked about RAW or how many megapixels I have or the color science. I just color graded a project with aerial Alexa footage, Sony FS7 footage, Panasonic EVO 1 footage. The people who hired me spoke nothing about RAW, color science, or resolution, okay? So I just want to put these things in perspective for you before you spend the money. So let's go to the R5. All right, look. Industry breaking camera for sure, okay? And you know how I feel about Canon a little bit, but let's just take an honest look at it, okay? So first off, got a new image sensor and processor, and honestly, who cares about that at this point? Because all these manufacturers need to redesign cameras in an innovative way. We need processors and sensors that don't overheat, fit in small, tiny camera bodies, and push high resolution, right? We're really close, but I think that they're clinging to technology that's like 20 years old. We should reimagine what the mechanics of cameras should look like. You know what I mean? We got cars that drive themselves. You know what I'm saying? Why are we using 20-year-old technology for camera sensors? You know what I mean? So anyway, 12 FPS mechanical shutter, 20 FPS silent. And you know what? Like, dude, that's sick, right? It's hella dope to have 12 frames per second on a mechanical shutter and 20 FPS silent. But you know what? My GH4 does that. Swear. Oh, GH4 owners, you could bear witness to it. And I know what you're thinking, but Teddy, that's a Micro Four Thirds camera, not full frame. But that's my point, man. This camera is 6 years old. It's old technology and does the same thing. Now, I'm not knocking Canon. I'm just saying, bro, you know what I mean? It's 2020. That's all. It's not that crazy impressive. It's just good, right? Okay, now 8K RAW, right? This is like the talk of the town here. 8K RAW, 4K at 120p. Psh, that's crazy. It's insane. You can deliver 4K content with a cropped secondary angle from one camera, and it'll look great. It'll look sharp still. You could have 3 cameras and 3 camera angles by cropping if delivering in 1080p. Okay, maybe even more than that, right? So that's awesome. I mean, it's tight. But, I mean, come on, man. The overheating, right? The overheating, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to get beyond that. It's just, man, there's a lot to say about it. But at best, you can record for 30 minutes in 10-bit 4K in full frame, and that's the best, 30 minutes. And then once you hit that mark, it's gonna shut down, and it's gonna say wait 10 minutes, and that's at room temperature. If you live maybe in Sacramento or other parts of California or Nevada or even back east. I'm from the East Coast. It gets to 110 out there. If you're in the summer shooting something and you're pulling out that camera, who's to say that it won't overheat after 3 minutes or 5 minutes in hot temperatures? Okay? And then you got to wait 10 minutes or wait until whenever the camera cools down to start recording again. And look, man, I get it. You're like, man, but Teddy, 8K RAW, dude. Okay, look, just think for a second, okay? Just think for a second. Like, let's do some critical thinking here. Do you think that any other brand could produce a camera that does that? Like, most camera brands are trying to make cameras that work all the time, dude. Most camera brands are trying to make cameras that just always work. Canon said, all right, look, let's just go for 30 minutes. Our marketing team can push it. Can you just make it work for 30 minutes? Bro, that's messed up. That's like as loyal as the customer base is for Canon, Yo, they shouldn't treat you like that, man. They shouldn't. You deserve better. You deserve so much for how much you argue on behalf of Canon that does stuff like this to you, man. It's messed up, okay? And I feel for you. I'm on your side, okay? I'm looking out for you, all right? All right, then, you know, on top of that, they added IBIS. Yo, IBIS, awesome. I'm so happy that they brought in IBIS because, like, you know, using IBIS with a lens that already has like image stabilization, it's like you almost don't need a gimbal. Almost. But you still need a gimbal. But it's like almost you don't need a gimbal. But look, man, it took 5 years after Sony did it with the A7R2 to come out with IBIS. Like, it took 5 years for Canon to do this. And the A7R2, which you could find for $1,200, it also does 4K full frame. It's got IBIS, 40 megapixels, records 4K, okay? And it doesn't overheat. You could save yourself $2,000. It's got eye autofocus, EVF, all that. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying that you know, there's other options out there if this is what you're looking for. On top of that, okay, look, you like 8K RAW, right? Like, that's what you like. You like 8K RAW. All right, check this out, man. Check this out. 18.67 gigabytes per minute of 8K RAW. All right, per minute of 8K RAW. Look, it's like 373 gigs for 20 minutes of video, and you got to spend $900 on a CFast card. You know, maybe you could get away with something like, you know, off-brand that's cheaper, but I don't know, man. I don't know if you want to gamble with footage like that. I don't know what you're filming. I don't know if you care about the footage. Cards crap out all the time, but you know, $1,500. You know, I mean, it gets pricey, okay? But 18.67 gigs per minute. Go ahead and start offloading that to your machine to edit. Do you have a machine that will edit it? Huh? That'll run your 8K RAW in there. And we know how Canon is about codecs, not always the best to work with. So, you know, look, if you're not about that life, let's just stop there, okay? Why are you buying this camera? Just get the 1DX, the new 1DX. The new 1DX is hella tight. I love that camera. It's tight, man. I might, maybe not buy it. But maybe, I don't know, one day. We'll see. But, you know, if you like shooting RAW, then you should like color grading, because if you don't like color grading, you're just going to use LUTs, and then all the footage looks the same, which is what is happening with Blackmagic Pocket users today. You know what I mean? And we own 2 of them, right? So do you really want to shoot RAW? Look, Ulysses took a 20-hour color grading course and is dope at color grading and hates shooting RAW because of the grading. Is your MacBook going to handle that, bro? Just be cool, man. Like, these are important questions to ask yourself, man. And I know you're like, Teddy, you're just a Canon hater, you Sony fanboy. Nah, bruh. Let's go to the Blackmagic, all right? Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Look, first of all, you don't got to stick to these names, man. Blackmagic, you could just make the names simple. You don't got to hold on to the names from previous models. Like, we'll still buy it, I promise. Just make the name easier. Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Like, come on, man. It's 2020. All right, it's 2020. Anyway, dude, 80 megapixel sensor. 4K DCI. First of all, you can pre-order it at B&H. And when you go to look at the specs, there's no specs. So you got to find it somewhere else. So anyway, it's 80 megapixel sensor. Crazy. 12,288 pixels by 6,488 pixels. Bruh, that's wild. 4K DCI is 4096 by 2160. You could add those 2 dimensions together and it still wouldn't equal the length of the short side. It's nuts. Why do we need that? Why do we need 12K footage? Like, why? Why do we need that? You know what I mean? And look, man, you're talking to a 4K advocate since 2014, bro. I push a hard 4K line. 6K is dope. 8K is, whoa, it's kind of a lot. But 12K? It's like, all right, man, be cool, man. Just chill, man. We don't need that. Put that away. You don't need that here. You know what we need? Dynamic range. And I was hoping that they would drop the new Ursa and it would have something crazy like 20 stops of dynamic range. but it only has 14 stops of dynamic range. It's only got 14 stops. And you know what? The old Ursa, the Mini Pro 4.6K G2, it's got 15 stops, dude. Blackmagic, why you do that? Like, why did you do that, man? Because, look, having dynamic range, like, all right, look, man, for, you know, when we're using lighting indoors or something, right, like increasing dynamic range helps to make our job with lighting like much easier. You know, shooting outside against the sun, using reflectors or artificial lights to try and fight that dynamic range and still keep, you know, the environment well lit. Like, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fight all that. That's why you have all this crazy equipment out there, like floating scrims and all that. Is dynamic range, bro. Just do crazy dynamic range. 4.6K, that's plenty of pixels. I'm not mad at 4.6K. That's cool. That looks great. You know, 15 stops of dynamic range is really good. If they just pushed it to 18, that would have been phenomenal, mind-blowing. But I don't know if they could sell, you know, the camera. I'm pretty sure they could sell the camera with 18 stops of dynamic range, because, you know, it's people who know about dynamic range that buy these cameras. And you know, I don't know why they didn't do it. It's mind-boggling to me. But anyway, you know, it's $10,000 for this camera, which is actually cheap for a camera at this resolution. Maybe not for your pockets though. If you don't color grade, look, if you thought that 8K RAW used a lot of footage, like when I told you that 18.7 gigs per minute on the R5 was a lot, and your eyes got big with worry, and you almost broke a sweat, and you kind of hesitated a little bit, and you thought to yourself, whoa, I don't know about this. Yo, don't even try to get this new Ursa then. Don't even try it. Get a pocket 6K. Start there. All right? Just be cool, man. You're good. You save $7,500. Keep that in your pocket. But go buy food and water to store up. Go buy toilet paper for it to store up. Okay. Keep that in your pocket. All right. Look. On to the next. And I know what you guys are gonna do. You're gonna call me a Sony fanboy because A7S III is out. And I've been saying that they're just never gonna come out with this camera. And to be honest with you, I'm really happy that they did, because so many Sony A7S II users have been waiting for this camera, and I'm glad that they came out with it. So look, this camera is, to be honest, it's probably more your speed if the other two kind of overwhelmed you a bit. All right, because look, the Canon R5, yo, this is a great camera. I'm not saying it's not a great camera. It's an awesome camera. I'm not saying it's a bad camera. However, what I am saying is, if you're a photographer who almost never shoots video, but if you did shoot video, you'd never shoot 8K RAW, then it's a great camera for you. It's an awesome camera for you. But if you're going to get it for photos and not shoot video, or barely shoot video, but if you ever did shoot video, not shoot it 8K RAW, why get this camera? You don't need this camera. Go get the new 1DX, please. Or, you know, if you want the megapixels, go get an A7 R2, R3, R4, R5. They will do the same thing, just not the raw part. But, you know, if you don't like the raw part because of all the color grading, like, you really got to know what you're doing, color grading raw footage. Don't just slap a LUT on it. Don't, like, stop doing that. Really learn how to color grade. It's like color grading photos, but you're going to have to use DaVinci Resolve and nodes and masking and all this stuff. Look, it gets complex, okay? And I'm just saying, the A7S III is going to be good for you, okay? It's going to be good for you, but not because it's crazy stacked. It's going to be good for you because it's not crazy stacked. It's just the speed you need for now. All right, if the other two cameras, if they kind of overwhelmed you a bit, especially raw color grading, especially the size of the amount of footage that you're going to be storing on your hard drive, transferring to your hard drive, if that kind of scared you a little bit, look, just calm down, relax. This is more your speed, okay? Just to keep it simple, no 8K, no 6K, just 4K, which is awesome. Like, that's plenty. That's great. 10-bit 422 internal 4K recording up to 120 FPS. Bro, that's insane. That's huge. 240 FPS in HD. That's sick. No record limit. Touch screen. I mean, they really listen to A7S2 users on some of this. But something alarms me. There's absolutely no mention of low light capabilities. What the hell? That was the whole reason why you got the A7S line in the first place. Because you could record at 16,000 ISO, shooting in slow motion, and it looked good. It wasn't all grainy and noisy. Did they not make any improvements there? Are you telling me that all you came up with after 6 years is a full frame GH5 for an extra $1,400? Is that it? Is that what you give us after 6 years, Sony? I'm not that impressed, bro. I'm not going to buy any of these cameras, and I could, but I won't, because there's no need to. We do just fine with what we got. We're all artists. We're all practicing artists, and on every project, every set I've ever been on, every frame, every still I've ever worked on, that's what we did. We just worked with what we had, all right? So look, man, don't get yourself caught up in these camera manufacturing companies who are hurting from COVID, who are hurting from the impending recession, depression, who are vying for market share in a politically unpredictable climate with a pending election, trigger you into spending your hard-earned money on their exceptionally subpar equipment. All right? Don't get caught up in all that. But it's up to y'all. Argue with me in the comments. Argue with each other. Get dirty and nasty and name call. And meet up with each other in the street face to face. Pull up. No, I'm just playing. Don't do that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. And be safe. Stay happy. Peace.